So let's see if we can speak to the man who is painting the totem pole. You're Chris, aren't you?
I'm Chris Smith.
I know that's your name because the other day I was inspecting some of your initial work here, and your name is on the plaque at the bottom, isn't it?
That's correct, yeah.
So look, before we talk about what you're doing now,
yes,
how did you come to create this thing in the first place?
Well, I went to school with the Canadians, and one of the Canadian students carved 3 totem poles as a gift for the school when he left in 1963. And in 2012 I realised that in 2013 it'd be 50 years since the Canadians left the village. So I had the idea of, because I knew the totem pole from the school had rotted away and been lost, so I decided to buy a pole and carve my own, and asked the council if I could put it in the grounds.
So just before we talk about your totem pole then, let's just go back to those days. You were at school with, so these were the children of the Canadian families who were living here at the time.
Yeah, that's right, yes.
What was that like?
Wonderful times, very exciting, and they loved this village. I'm still in touch with quite a few of them now, 60 odd years later, and they still reminisce and said, without a doubt, best years of their lives living in Radcliffe. And they said it goes for the same as their parents as well. They all said the same, what wonderful times there were.
Because back in the day, it was just over 200 families, wasn't it?
Well, they built 205 houses for them to live in. So, I mean, in quite a lot of families, there were 3 and 4 children. You know, and say the school, they built a new school in the village to accommodate them and us, and we were all taught together in mixed classes. We had Canadian teachers, and to me, it was just wonderful times.
How many Canadian teachers were there back at the school then?
Well, virtually 50-50.
Right.
Probably 1 or 2 less than half the English teachers. But yeah, a good half, I would think, just about.
So this was when you were a teenager back then?
Well, they came in, the majority of the families came in 1956. 1 or 2 came prior to that to set up the Langer airfield. But the majority of the children started school in October 1956, and I would be about 8 at that time.
And it's a very young age to understand world affairs and world events and geopolitics, isn't it?
Yes,
but
yes.
Did you and some of your friends back then understand why the Canadian military were here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Langer was set up as their distribution base for Europe. Everything came from Canada, they flew it into Langer Air Base, and then it was distributed around all their bases in Europe.
And this was the Canadians' commitment as part of the NATO, the Cold War era.
Right. Yeah, that's it, yeah.
So this is your gift, really, isn't it, to the cultural influences of the Canadians in Radcliffe-on-Trent?
Yeah, it cost me, in monetary terms, 700 quid altogether.
That's back in 2013, is it?
In 2013, yeah. Because obviously I've set it in concrete and all that, so all the materials cost me just under 700 quid, and I spent, it took me about 10 weeks to carve, probably 12 weeks in real terms, because I did 7 days a week some weeks just to try and get it done.
Well, I've noticed over the past few weeks you've been here practically every day from about 8 in the morning.
That's right, yes I have, yeah.
You know, it's hard work, isn't it? Painting a totem pole.
Well, I'm used to hard work. I've done it all my life, so it doesn't bother me.
Were you a painter, carpenter in your trade?
I was built in the building trade.
Right, okay.
Yeah, I was in partnership with a local chap, and I retired 21 years ago actually. So yeah, it wanted doing. So I came down a few weeks ago and looked at it's looking a bit tired. I had a word with the council chap and said I want to repaint, and so I'm doing it.
Let's just go a little bit closer if we can, because the other day you weren't here, you'd gone home, it was kind of later in the afternoon, and I could tell you'd been working on, I think, this section here where the black face is with the blue eyes, and I think I could smell the fresh paint.
Yes, yeah. That's a bear, by the way. That's my version of a bear. You don't recognise it?
I do. Do you know what? Now you've said that, because you do have to step back a bit to get the full effect, don't you?
That's right. Yeah. But all the rest are just my interpretation of silly faces, really.
So
there's no story to it, really.
For those who are not looking at a picture, we'll put a picture up as well, so that people can see it. But we've got a maple leaf, a bear, and what do we have above the bear?
Well, they're all just faces that come out of my imagination. They're not. They're not any symbols or anything like that. I just did silly faces because to me, I suppose I'm breaking the laws in a way to call it a totem pole. I don't know. It's a work of art. I suppose you call it that. It's my version of a totem pole.
And where did the main pole come from? Where was that?
I bought that from a firm in Boston, in Lincolnshire. They deal in. They supply all the telecommunications and electricity companies with poles, and they've got, believe me, thousands and thousands of poles. They import them into Boston, and they season them for a couple of years. As
I look at the images above the bear,
yes.
The teeth feature quite heavily, don't they?
Yeah.
Just quite scary teeth.
No, that's the idea, yeah.
You know, it almost reminds me. I said to you when I met you first a few weeks ago that it did evoke memories of Maori culture to me in New Zealand, because
yes.
you know they go big on the carvings in New Zealand as well.
Yeah.
And then as you go right to the top, we've got another maple leaf, a green one instead of a yellow one up there, and then you guess the cross section at the top.
Yeah, that's it. I know it doesn't look like an eagle, but that's my version of an eagle.
It does look like an eagle, by the way.
Well, that's the idea of totem poles. You know, I mean, the green maple leaf at the top is a spring.
Yep.
And the one at the bottom is the autumn. I've got more work to do on those yet, painting wise, but that's how I looked at it.
And this is just the side that I'm looking at, and we're looking at from the side of the Grange building, and then of course on the other side, you've got it's replicated, isn't it? The whole thing.
Yeah. But he's caught a salmon, that one. That's my version of a salmon in there. Look.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
So how long will it take you from start to finish? You started a few weeks ago, didn't you?
Well, it's hard to say really. I bet if I had all the hours together, I'm going to spend probably 4 or 5 weeks painting it, because I'm putting several coats on.
Do you think the people of Radcliffe-on-Trent appreciate the pole and you?
I've had nothing but nice comments from people that's walked past. You're bound to get the odd one, I suppose. I've not heard anybody moaning about it. Someone said, I've heard, oh look, they've got no money at the council, but they can afford to pay someone to paint a totem pole. And I was told that they were putting the place rapidly, because it's not costing anybody a penny apart from me, because I'm supplying all the paint and doing all the work.
So truly a labour and funded of love.
Well, yeah, that's all it is, yeah. It's for Radcliffe. I donated it to the village, and I consider myself kind of the owner, but I've donated to the village, so when I've gone, hopefully someone will look after it.
That was going to be my last question.
All right.
How confident are you? Because none of us are getting younger,
no.
Me included, but here you are doing this now in 2026, but what about when you're not here?
Well, they told me, the parish clerks told me that they have a kind of a legal obligation, because it's on their property, to maintain it. I suppose for safety reasons as much as anything else. They've got to make sure it's in the ground, it's all protected with a heated on protection, and then I've got a piece of lead around there, so it's not going to rot from the bottom. So hopefully it's going to stand here for many, many years to come.
And when you finish this job, are you going to mark that moment? Is anybody going to help you mark the moment where it is complete again and it's all fresh?
I mean, this is not my scene, talking to you and having it all recorded. I don't go in for that sort of thing. I'm just trying to be a gentleman.
Well, it's been lovely to talk to you, and thank you for creating this. It's an object that I always see and enjoy savouring every time I walk through the Grange.
Thank you very much. Thank you.